Hello and welcome to the Fraternal Outdoors podcast. I'm here with our regular Sean, and we have Anthony LaRocca on the line, and he's a good buddy from college. Anthony, talk a little about yourself. How did we meet? What did we do?
What's up, everybody? Back in the day at school, we both joined fraternities, and one thing led to another, and led to a great friendship and many memories that we will be talking about in this podcast.
Thanks, buddy. So, we wanted to get you on the line here because we thought it'd be fun to kind of reminisce on old times. The three of us were part of a Facebook group and a little bit of a excursion group when we were in Alfred together. What was that? It was the Jeeps of Alfred and Company. I was in the and Company
Something
category
like that,
because I was rocking an S10, but there was quite a handful of us with off-road capable and some slightly less than capable vehicles. And
I think you and I would have made
roads.
I think you and I made up most of the and Company part of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean and I were...
Well, unless you count Nick Cody, and by extension, not Nick Cody.
Yeah.
That might be one of the funnest stories to tell. Let's jump right into it.
Oh, that goes... Oh, my God.
Yeah, so the story...
Where to begin that one?
I'll kick it off, I guess. So one of my wife's sorority sisters was dating one of Anthony's fraternity brothers, and he had a Ford Explorer?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, it was a four-door Explorer.
And she called me one evening, and the beginning of the call was prefaced with something to the effect of, "You can't tell anybody," which didn't work very well because it was speakerphone in the chapter room. So we had a whole handful of brothers that were already listening when she said that. So, but it basically boiled down to she had decided that this thing's four-wheel drive. I can go off-roading, right? And she tried to take what is basically a snowmobile trail out into the boonies and some back country near Alfred State. And
well, it wasn't even that, dude. It was the normal
seasonal
seasonal road down to one of the lakes or ponds,
that's
whatever
right.
it is down there.
It was the seasonal road.
It was just 3 feet of snow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
on a snowmobile trail.
It was not plowed. It was snowmobile trail at the time, and
black.
We probably ought to mention that when we say seasonal road, it's not open year round.
Yeah.
And this was not the seasonal part of the seasonal use season.
Yeah.
That this not off-road vehicle decided to become an off-road vehicle.
Yeah. So she gave us rough location, and we went out searching. And so I think, Sean, was I the first one on the scene? Were you with me? I don't remember exactly how it went down.
So I think Anthony was first. He led.
No. Well, yeah, but...
You would have led down the trail from the trailhead.
So what we did was...
I think
we left the vehicle up top.
That was mine. Because I took one look going down the hill and went,
Then Woody went down first, and then you and I went down after.
Well, I went ahead of you guys, and Ben, because he thought he knew the area she was stuck better than I did, and Ben decided he was going to take the lead with his. It was a Subaru. I'm pretty sure it was a Subaru.
It was either a Subaru or a Suzuki.
It was like
I
one of those small SUVs.
It was not cut out for the snow.
No, not at all.
And clearance
snow, yes.
tire wise, and he tried to go around her when we found her. And one of the funniest parts of the whole thing is we get there, they see our headlights, and they had built a fire for warmth, like next to the vehicle. And they were so excited we were there, they were like, "Oh, we're saved!" And they put the fire out. 14 hours was it? Was a 14-hour recovery or 12?
Well, we didn't get out there till midnight.
I was going to say, for them, it was probably 14 to 16 hours.
I think it started like earlier in the day,
Yeah.
and then it got to where Ben went out, and then you went out,
Yeah.
and then we came.
Yeah, because I followed Ben, and he started going down the hill, and I stopped at the top of the hill. I said, "That's not a good idea." He kept going. So I walked in his tire tracks and came upon what he had done. And he was
Right.
and he was kind of freaking out because they were at that point he had tried to get himself past her, and he'd spun and just kept kicking sideways, which is what she did. Is she spun
Yeah.
and kicked sideways off the main path. And
Yeah, she slid off the right-hand crown of the road.
Yeah, she was
He
canted
tried
about
to ride
30
the crown.
degrees and maybe a foot
And-
from a tree, if that.
Yep.
And he was maybe 4 inches by the time he got done fucking around.
Dude, that was. And when we got out there, just trying to
Yeah.
get the vehicles like in spots where we can start pulling and just kind of just shimming them across, trying to get them out with get. And oh my god,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
when
think
we
I
get-
came across that, and I'm like, I need reinforcements. This is not a me and nobody else that was off-road capable or handy in that situation. No offense.
I think we
no
used-
offense to Ben,
I
and
think-
I think Mario was with him. I can't remember. who
Yeah, I
was
think they
with
went.
him, but
think they went in Ben's. But we
Yeah,
used.
so-
We used. I had a snatch strap, and I happened to have 100 feet of climbing rope. Woody, I think you had another 100-foot spool of the same rope.
yeah, maybe.
I had
You had your
probably
chains.
just straps and a
You came.
chains and a come along.
Yeah, you had the
I
come
think.
along, which was the godsend,
That was the ticket.
And then so
and some strips of cut plywood you brought for traction
Yeah.
boards.
the traction boards.
That-
Yeah,
that-
the traction boards.
It went really awesome once we had what we needed, but before that, it was like just a mess.
Now, humor me. Was this the episode 2 where somebody yelped that traction board kicked out and nearly took somebody's knee out?
Yep.
Was that in this same
That was,
incident?
I think that was Ben's.
I was gonna say I
Well, or
remember that
something.
we
Yeah,
had a
'cause
real
we-
bad time
was-
once.
we wouldn't let any of them near the come-alongs. Like
Yeah.
the three of us specifically were on the like if something snaps, it's gonna be on us.
It's gonna be us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
we're the one who rigged this thing. So
So my vehicle was a 2000 Cherokee XJ with a 3-inch lift, and they were like 31.5-inch tires by like I think 11-inch.
yeah,
Yeah, you had the meaty
And-
stuff back then.
So those were the General Grabber AT2s, which Sean recommended. Loved it, dude. Those things ate through snow so easy.
They were solid tires.
nuts.
yeah, those tires worked awesome. So I had like 31.5-inch tires, and they were Wild Countries, which I used to swear by. But that was the point in time. Those were probably the last set of Wild Countries I bought, and I wasn't happy with them. They I don't know what they changed, but it wasn't what I liked anymore.
Yeah.
So, which they
Um,
still did okay, and then they were sitting on my platform was a 04 extended cab S10 with it was a poor man. It was a lift of sorts, but it wasn't like a factory lift. I think I was gaining 2 inches. Somebody probably called it a 3-inch.
You popped out there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that my platform was a 04 S10 with those 31.5-inch tires. I don't remember what they were width-wise, and then it had a half-assed 3-inch lift.
I was gonna say I was actually trying to see.
Yeah.
I think I can share this, and it'll probably share to the video.
Oh yeah,
I've got
that will.
I've got old photos here of our vehicles and stuff. So this was I had a 94 Ranger with a 3-inch lift on 30-inch tires. And then I
Nice.
think down here, this is Anthony's XJ. And then I don't know, Woodrow, if I've got any of yours immediately sitting
That's-
in this file.
So that's with my old. That was before I cut the fenders too.
Yeah.
Somewhere
here, we
there's
can
a
go back in
photo of
time.
all three of ours parked from that night we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did
Yeah.
because we got back and we just wanted to get soup in our body, so we went to we went to Wegmans, the local grocery store, for fucking soup at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, and that was the
Pulled an
kicker for
all-nighter.
the. That was the kicker. I think. Did you have the flu as well?
I don't. I think I got it afterwards.
Because I know I had it. Toke, I think you were coming down with it. Like we were the three
Yeah,
that
we
were the
were-
best suited, but we were in the worst physical condition to be outdoors.
Yeah, that actually might have been before I got those General Grabbers.
Mm,
Yeah, I couldn't
Maybe.
remember.
I
I know.
remember.
I think it was. I think that's when I was running the fucking destination tires, all ATs, which those sucked.
yeah, I remember you
Yeah,
parked
we-
at the road because you knew better. You're like, I'm not
Yeah.
going down there.
Yeah,
Well, the kicker was after we finally got her loose, there was nowhere to turn around. So she,
Yeah.
even back where I parked, there was nowhere to turn around.
well,
like
we
I
had to get back. We had to go down to the bottom.
Yeah.
To get turned
Yeah.
around,
yeah,
and then I think you drove one of the vehicles up.
I might have.
No, you took your truck up. Ben's we had strapped to me still
Oh, that's right.
To
because
drag
he
him
couldn't
out.
get any traction because of his
Yeah.
low clearance.
Yeah, we had.
And then I think Sean drove Nick Cody's up.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
'cause I
think
think that's
I
how
think
it
I had a
happened.
support line on him with my truck. Because I remember we
probably-
had like we were basically
Yeah.
all chained together coming out.
Yeah. And then what happened was Ben slid off again. I got
Yeah.
him back on the road, unhooked, and I just told him go and don't stop. And then you guys came down and we got me out with just pushing, essentially.
Yeah.
And boards, I think. I didn't think we needed anything else, and we just jumped in and just got up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Got back to school and was like, all right.
This
Wegmans
was
run
dumb.
Yeah.
now. This so could have been so much earlier because we got there and it was pitch black out there. There's nothing. There's no light, nothing. It's just our trucks there putting out the light.
Yeah. Which I had that. Did I have my light bar on at the time? I think I did.
I think
My-
you did.
my-
I would
KC.
imagine you probably did.
So I had 4 big 6-inch KC highlighters or daylighters or whatever you call them on the roof.
Mhm.
Those were nice.
I just cut that light bar off the Ranger. Actually, I'm between now and 2 weeks from now. That Ranger is officially going to the scrapyard. So I just cut. I had the same thing. I had 4 KC daylighters on top of my roll bar.
They
Just
were the
slice
thing to
those
have
off.
back in the day.
Yeah, man. I couldn't see throwing them out. There wasn't really a reason to throw them out and get rid of them.
2 of my KC daylighters are now the main headlights on an International 240 tractor at the farm.
I forgot about that. That we used.
That's awesome.
They worked perfect. They sat
I
right in
totally
the same
forgot about
location.
that.
Because it's such an old tractor, it was a 6-volt tractor. So somebody had upgraded it to 12-volt before Dad bought it, but they were 6-volt headlights, so they immediately
Headlights.
fried them. And then they had just like really half-assedly bolted to like aftermarket like AutoZone square pods on the hood.
Oh fuck.
So I pulled those off and I put those daylighters on the sides when we were rebuilding it. Worked really good.
Yeah, why not? I was trying to see, Woody. I thought I threw the photo you were talking about of the one of us of the vehicles at the house.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I could find that and dig that up.
Yeah, I don't have
You wonder what
anything with my computer setup right now. I don't have anything shareable easily. That would have been a swell idea, but hindsight,
It's
always
probably-
2020. I wonder if I can put that in
trying to
post.
remember.
You put a photo in post.
Yeah, you
Stick
probably
it
can.
in.
This is going to be my inaugural run at trying to do video editing, so we'll see how that turns out.
See what we pull in.
But yeah, that
Well, I
was
could help you with that part. The putting in pictures and stuff. That's easy.
yeah. But yeah, that was probably one of our more notable little trips. I remember another fun one was when you got stuck. And we won't name the location because it's probably not in. It's probably
That
still
one.
within the statute of limitation, but just barely.
That one.
But we got stuck.
Okay, so it was the eve of 420, and me, Thane decided to go off on this trail that Sean and I did before.
In drier
Well-
weather, mind you.
Yeah, we had drier weather. So I start going. All of a sudden, we bury it. Foop,
Yep.
right up to the floorboards. I was like, God damn it. So Thane and I are trying to get out and everything. And then I call Sean, and then Sean calls you.
Yep. I think I rode with
And-
Sean that time. I don't think I had my own rig there.
I think so.
Yes, I think we only had the 2 vehicles because I ended up.
No, we.
I think so because I think
Parks
I
was
went
there.
down to turn around.
Parks was there. I have the picture.
Parks. Wait,
Parks was there. Because it was.
he got
you guys
stuck in
had,
the same spot at a different occasion, though.
No, it was the.
Same night. So I went to
Same night.
I
Same
came
night.
down the trail facing him, and I was gonna spin around so that I could hook onto him and pull him with my forward gear because I didn't have a real great reverse. But
Well,
on
so-
forward, I had the posi track that would lock.
Right.
So I went to go
what-
spin, and I got 90 degrees perpendicular to the trail, and I buried my front axle and could no longer get enough momentum to get out
So we had to get Parks down there.
to pull
and Parks
me out.
had to get Sean out.
That's right.
Okay, now mind you, when Sean came, we got me out, and now I start going down. And what happened was, is as I'm coming back up the hill, my back end gets sucked into a rut and just shoots the front corner up.
That's right.
So now I'm almost on 3 wheels, ready to tip backwards, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Sean's like, "Don't move! Don't move! Don't move!"
Yeah, you were right.
We-
You were
so we
back on
hooked-
your hitch
And
receiver.
Thane was
Yeah, we
Thane was
hooked-
hiding behind a tree,
Yeah,
saying
we
he's
hooked
never
into a
going with
tree.
these white people in the woods ever again.
And then screaming, "Take me back to civilization!" I have the picture somewhere. I just saw it.
Oh, that was
Poor
hilarious.
Dane.
He's like, "This is
Yeah.
white people
Quick-
shit. I'm
quick-
not going with you guys anymore."
Quick out and back. I mean, we'll be back in an hour.
Yeah.
4 hours later.
So you got to stay away from those statements because that's like just knocking on fate's door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Or
fun.
like losing the license plate. Oh man, I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
imagine
that
how
too.
that happened.
Oh man,
Same places.
neither of you were
Same
on.
places Toke's talking about.
Yeah, neither
Yep.
of you were on the Gilligan recovery, were you?
I don't think so.
Was that the which one? He had the caddy that he buried?
No, we had the Hummer.
No, it was before my time.
So he was driving around with Chris Crana, and they had a Hummer. I think it was his aunt's. And he's cruising around. He's like, "Yeah, this thing can go anywhere." And she said, she's made some. I wasn't there, but it's what I heard. She made some sort of a statement like, "Bet you can't go over there." He's like, "Bet I can." So he turned off onto a power line road and tried to go over their diversion hump. And
To stop people from doing just this.
high centered it in the middle.
Oh,
Like he's teeter tottered. All 4 wheels off. Teeter tottered.
damn.
Because he hit it with a little force. he's just super high centered, and he called. And he's like, what did he say? Something like he's like, I'm stuck. I'm lost. I don't know where I am. Click. Like what the hell? So everybody's calling. Everybody trying to figure out where he went, and he had like crap service. And finally, I think Crana got a hold of Tiny Tim. And she's like, "Hey, this is kind of where I think we are." I don't know. So Tiny Tim in his truck, and I don't know who was with him, and then Steph and I in my S10 went out there, and I think his truck was
Was
too
it the
big, or
back?
he didn't want to take it down in there because he had bad
I know
tires.
exactly. I know what trail it was.
Was it the backside of Palmer's Trail?
It might have been.
Mhm.
So that's the same place that Crank wiped his car out and wailed the tree.
Is it?
When I,
'Cause
I dragged him
you're
out and
like-
the sheriff showed
Af-
up.
Yeah, because after one one route you were just like, "Yo, you want to see where Gilligan teeter-tottered?"
Yeah.
And then they took us down that road.
So all of the guys ended up having to stand at the front bumper and just like power lift up on the front bumper, while Krana sat in the driver's seat in reverse, and Steph was in my truck, hooked to the back, and that freaking Hummer is way heavier than my S10. So she had like there was no choice. We had to jerk it. So she's jerking it, and we're pushing up, and they finally got like back wheels down with enough weight on them that you could drag it off the frame.
Jesus.
Gilligan, what the hell were you thinking? She's like, I could go over anything. That's well, you were
what
incorrect.
I thought, man.
Yeah, you were incorrect.
Oh, there's the one day we had to leave my Jeep overnight.
That cost you 4 rotors, 4 sets of brake pads, and 2 calipers?
One caliper.
So that was an expensive day. That was an expensive day.
Night and day, because we had to buy a new come-along.
Yeah, because I blew mine up.
No, we had my old one that it was...
Oh, was it yours that broke with the sheet metal?
Yeah, because it's the finger-type ones, and the fingers went...
fried right off.
Spread apart.
That one I know I have a photo of, too. It's in that same album.
Well, we went down our normal trail, and on this trail, a giant-ass tree fell down. You know, instead of being smart and chaining the tree and moving the tree, we're like, that field looks dry. Let's walk out there and check it. It's pretty dry. Okay. Sean gets in his truck. I get in my Jeep. I look around. Sean's nowhere to be found. Looking around. Oh, yeah. Phone rings once. Voicemail. Don't come out here.
So here's what it looked like.
Yeah.
There it
now,
is.
mind you,
Front
I
end
didn't look
buried
into
under the hood.
I didn't get to the "don't come out here" until I was already out there.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a good night.
There's the front differential.
Took
There's
us,
the
what,
tires.
like
Wow.
2 or 3 hours to get off. So we
it
didn't
was
realize that was
hours.
a runoff of a pond.
Yeah,
Like,
we went
all.
blasting through it.
Dry until weight is applied.
Full. Every single piece of recovery gear we had, and massive pulling showing out for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Finally get him out. Start going. You get stuck. Oh no, you get stuck again. So I swing up. Chain.
We did the front. We did the front and back. Yeah.
And then we started going, and we disconnected, and you started going, and I got sucked in some ruts and couldn't get out. And the closest tree was like 50, 60 feet off to the right, like perpendicular.
Yeah.
So instead of bringing his truck back out, we just tried to do that, broke the come along, wrote a note, and went back the next day with Parks.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
Parks' part was so dumb. He's never done this before, like any recovery, so we were trying to walk him through it.
Yeah. He's never done it before, but he's the one with the winch.
Okay.
Oh no, he didn't even have the winch back
He didn't
then.
have the winch at this point.
Oh, really? Okay.
He just
So
had
now-
he just had 4-wheel drive and mud tires, and
Do you have
that
the
instantly
farm jack?
qualified. No,
So
he had nothing. He had a bone stock
this
Wrangler.
was pretty much like the part that got him to get everything was like this. So he pulls me forward a little bit and then just starts spinning his tires. And we're like, great.
4-wheel drive and a lead
Buried.
foot. Buried himself.
Buried it. Okay, Parks, put it in reverse and keep it under 1500 RPMs. Can you do that? Okay. So I go in mine. I put mine in drive, 1500 RPMs, and we finally start wiggling out.
Mm-hmm.
We get out. We're still tied together. Sean's keeping us tied together. So we start going. Parks is like, oh, let me turn off traction control now. Put stops right at the entrance of our trail to leave.
Wait until
Gets me stuck
everybody's
again.
on hard ground. Damn it.
Yep.
Gets me stuck again.
He got
Unhook
booted from the
parts.
driver's seat.
Unhook parts. Get the fuck out of here.
Go sit in the passenger seat of your own vehicle. I just need your vehicle, not you.
Yeah.
And Sean comes back as we're setting up to come along. Start going, and then Sean's in the driver's seat, and we get it unhooked and everything, and just get it up back up to the trailhead.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude!
And that was the last photo I showed. Was the three of us sitting on the seasonal road, covered in mud.
That's awesome.
Was that? I think I was also no. Was I stuck in 4 low when that happened?
That
Was that the 4 low one?
might have caused the 4 low, so I think that's probably where we found out that you were in 4 low.
Yeah. My truck, because I has that truck is an early version of electronic lock
Yeah.
to lock the T case only. It doesn't lock the hubs; it just locks the T case. It had shorted when I locked it into 4 low and refused to allow me out of 4 low, so I could unlock the hubs and drive with my front axles in idling.
Right.
But I had nothing in the I had nothing to the rear end except for low, which meant my top speed was 15 miles an hour. Fifth gear, 15 miles an hour, and that was as fast as I could possibly go because I just couldn't get any speed.
That's the way it goes
Finally, I
sometimes.
think we knocked the mud clean enough to get the thing to luckily let me shift into neutral, and then I could pop it.
That's how it goes sometimes. It's kind of amazing the ingenuity we used to have when we didn't have the the fancy tools.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you want to talk about your current Jeep
What, that has all the fancy tools? No, I don't have a winch
or
anything.
the
but
the massive engineering flaw in your
No, I don't want to
beautiful
talk
Jeep?
about that. So
I do.
All right, so I'll
Really,
set it
really
up and Sean can drive it home because I'm sure he'll like that. Just a second though, let me adjust. My headphones apparently don't like this charge port. I am full of issues.
Well,
with
I can
my
pre-tee you by saying that
You could probably use a power block, plug them in to charge them while wearing them.
all my power blocks are at my mom's house because we're basically living up there right now.
yeah. So the pre-tee for the story I'm about, or what he's about to tee, and for me to make fun of him a little at his expense,
Yeah, me.
is that now that we're all becoming responsible adults, we've all left our beater trucks and beater Jeeps and such in the past, and we've all slowly upgraded our vehicles in make, model, and, as Woody pointed out, in
Well,
beautiful
I didn't have
gear.
a choice.
To be
didn't have
fair,
a
I
choice
didn't really have a
with both
choice.
of my vehicles.
I didn't have a
Well,
choice
mine-
on the last one.
My unibody snapped on the Cherokee,
It's on the Cherokee,
and then I got
and then I got rented in the 2-door.
Okay, we're picking back up on the Gladiator story that Sean wanted to tell about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. So we were going to help at Pollywog Holler. They had some flooding and stuff, and Adam and Sean and I decided to all meet there because they were coming down to help work on my duck boat, and went there.
Progress
Had a good hard day's work, getting muddy and helping them make sure their bridges weren't going to flood and wash out and stuff like that. And when we got back, I could not put my truck in park. Like, it kept giving me these screen like errors and it wouldn't go in park. I could put it in neutral and pull the e-brake, and I couldn't key it off either, right, Sean? Like, you couldn't
Yeah,
turn the vehicle off because it wasn't in park.
Isn't it park?
Yeah.
Wasn't in park,
Hmm.
yeah.
So I was getting frustrated. I was getting mad. It's a Saturday. I've got people down. Like, you have to like drive this thing to Olean and have you guys bring me home. I'm mad. I'm like borrowing cigarettes from Adam, chain smoking them in my garage. It's a nice day out, so we're just like sitting in the garage with the door open. I'm just glaring at my Jeep, and Sean goes down this giant rabbit hole of like what could be wrong with it, and he finds like one comment in a
One
blog
YouTube
thread
video.
or something.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can I see a screwdriver?" I'm like, "Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care." I was mad at my Jeep at this point. He goes crawling under my Jeep, comes back with a little pebble. He's like,
Well,
"It's fixed."
crawl up underneath there. You guys are sitting in the garage. You're mad. I'm reaching up under there, and I see it. So I put the screwdriver on it, and I whack it. Ping! Woody goes, "What the hell did you do? What was that?" Fixed it. What do you mean you fixed it?
Try putting it in
Put it in
park.
park. Fucking shifts into park, shuts it off. What the fuck did you do? I was like, "Come here, crawl under here. See that? For want of a 50-cent cover, Jeep screwed you."
There's like one little
linkage-
section on our linkage that is exposed
The
underneath.
linkage-
Oh,
Just the tiniest
The
little,
linkage
it's like
of that.
3 inches of
Yep.
linkage that is not covered up.
For
I
your
am so used to that. The Cherokee's links for the to go from 2-wheel to 4-wheel, that was all exposed. I changed the grommets on that thing like every other week because it would constantly pop out. I've changed it multiple times. One time, I got it stuck at my cousin's land, and Chris Gill had to come pull me out, and I had to pull off into a parking lot because I was like, "This feels weird." It was locked into 4.
Yeah.
drive
I was like,
road in 4-wheel drive.
"Great."
What's that guy
So-
doing these days?
I have no idea. I think he's married.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's married. I think he actually lives near me.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
I have
for the
no idea.
longest time, Facebook used to send me stuff about him.
Hmm.
Now I don't get anything.
He and I both went
he's
on
nope.
the... Go ahead.
He's engaged. He's not yet married.
He and I were both on the SAE Baja team. He turned 21 while we were at the Baja event. And Twinkie and I
That's
took
dope.
him out for a drink. Everybody else, like, can't even think of his name, but he was the president of Baja at the time. He wasn't particularly thrilled that we were going out because it was a school thing. I'm like, listen, he's 21. He's 21. He just turned 21. We're going
Yeah.
out. And I think we got Tracy Rector to be our DD just in case we needed one.
That's
And we
awesome.
had my parents' Silverado, which is now TJ's truck.
Hmm
And so we drove that down there. We didn't want to pay to rent a trailer because SAE Baja team had no money. So we had we had borrowed like a Featherlight aluminum cattle trailer. So I've got a cattle trailer on the back of my parents' truck full of college students with an SAE Baja vehicle and acetylene torches and tools in the back, weaving through Baltimore traffic.
Jesus.
And then when we went out drinking, obviously we had dropped the trailer at that point, but we had Tracy drive home. She didn't realize what dumb redneck boys will do when they've had a few beers. So we were crawling out the windows, or I was anyways. Like, I can't smoke in my parents' vehicle, so I crawled out the window and was on the running board having a cigarette. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get back in the car." I'm like, "I'm fine.
This
Just
is
don't
climbing
put
into
the
the
window
bed.
up on me because it doesn't have a roof rack."
Yeah, this is normal. Don't worry about
If it
it.
was my S10, you could really do stuff because they had bed rails and roof rack rails and running boards, so you could crawl in and out of that thing like a jungle gym.
Yeah, look just like a SWAT vehicle. You hang all over that thing, man.
We did that in Alfred a few times. I told the pledge class that they could get a ride down to the fraternity house if they all fit in my vehicle. There was 11 of them,
Jesus.
so I fit 11 of them into my vehicle. And there was already 4 brothers in the cab. They weren't allowed in the cab with us. Just like 5 of them crammed in the truck bed and a few hanging off.
It's like the Beverly Hillbillies, but in human form.
It was fun. It was all in good fun. It's not like I floored it and then slammed the brakes.
I know
More
people
than
have
once.
done that before. And have launched people out the fucking bed.
That's
Whoop.
wild. We
Yeah.
we took Carl's S10 that he had bought off from Buck. It was that fiberglass bed with the oversized tires that sat next to the house forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
While he was pledging, he bought it off from Buck. So then I, as his pledge master, promptly went out and shoveled snow and gravel and threw it in the bed of the truck until it hit the wheel wells hit the fiberglass
Both
bed.
sides.
And then I told him to get his truck out of my driveway because he was a pledge and he wasn't allowed to have a vehicle at the house yet. And by the time he got to it, it had iced. So he had to chip it out.
No.
He got me back,
And
though.
not hit.
He got me
and
back
not
because
hit
he
the bed
blew up
either.
the water pump that summer. We were working on it, and he was working on something. I don't remember what he was working on, but he started revving the motor with the hood up, and me and maybe Twinkie, somebody else, we were all like in front of the engine bay, and he grenaded the water pump. And it just spit antifreeze all over me.
Mhm.
And it was definitely old
Damn.
antifreeze. Like, you're trying to poison me. It was good fun, though.
Leave it to Carl. I think pretty much the entire time that I was active, he had a defunct vehicle at the house. Was something wrong with
Well,
it?
you remember after he lifted it?
He lifted it?
I remember
He
the
lifted 6 inches. Maybe 10. It was grossly over. Just the front. He got new struts, like fixed hub struts. It was like
Jesus.
way lifted in the front. It just looked like this going down the road, just like 30-degree angle. Like, can you even see over your hood
That's
anymore?
gross, dude. That's terrible.
It was real
I
terrible.
remember the one. I remember the one when we got cited because he had a flat tire, and the only thing we could find was a propane tank that we stuck under the axle. And the town code official came by and cited us for having an unsafe situation in a vehicle, basically a derelict vehicle in the yard. We got in a lot of trouble for that one. And
Yeah, they weren't
Had to do
fans of
some-
us.
had to do some please, thank you, sir. We won't do it again type of stuff.
Not as bad as Twinkie having the pledges start a fire in the driveway.
Jeez.
They yelled at us
Or
for
Archer.
that, too.
Or Archer in the basement.
Yeah, well, at least the town police didn't get involved that time.
No, but the
I
fire
was pretty
department
mad.
sure could
Yeah.
have.
I was pretty mad, but
Yeah, I told you know how we're good at starting fires.
Yeah.
sometimes that's a
Pledges
bad thing.
pledges aren't real good at knowing where to start fires if they're not told where to start fires.
He was a new brother when he started it on the
Mm.
bar.
That was the bar. I'm talking about the one he started on the floor of the party room because they were afraid to go outside because they thought that they were going to get in trouble because I was sitting inside. I was inside because it was cold and told them go find firewood and start me a fire. They thought I meant in the party room, so they brought kindling and started a fire on the floor in the middle of the party room. And I walked in and went, "The fuck are you doing?"
Jesus Christ, dude.
No, the story Woody's talking about is drunk Archer decided an ashtray was a campfire receptacle once. So he ripped up cardboard beer boxes and matchsticks and other little bits of wood that he found, and it was one of those ceramic ashtrays.
We're talking about the
it's a
same
dinner
guy
plate.
that pulls his knife out when he's drunk and plays I Have All My Fingers and taps the blade between all of his fingers as fast as he can over and over. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's his prerogative. I don't
mean,
need to die
you
when
guys
he
don't do
loses a
that?
finger.
I
Not on
don't
purpose.
personally do that, but I've also seen brothers put darts into the webs of brothers' fingers
Yeah.
on the dartboard. So,
I've seen brothers stab other brothers and go, "Is this knife sharp?"
never seen that before.
Let me look into the camera with a little more intensity, Woody.
Cutting that out in post.
This knife sharp? Yow! Yeah!
But not necessarily on the subject of off-road vehicles, but we had a fun on-road one this past winter. So Sowers, you know Sowers, Sanchez, brother name, He
Yeah.
was having his bachelor party up in his neck of the woods, up in the Utica area. And actually, that whole thing was kind of a crazy story because what, five of us? What, you, me, CJ, Wade, and Dorfman. So five of us got an Airbnb as a pretty swanky, it's a pretty fancy Airbnb, and the lady yelled at us because we drew penises in the snow on each other's vehicles.
And
She,
the
she
neighbors, yeah, the
messaged.
neighbors called
I
and
booked
screamed
it.
at her.
I booked it, so I was getting the flack, and we were like at like a
At the
bar in
bar. We were
Utica,
at the
doing
tasting.
like a tasting or whatever. Like we all bought a flight before we went to the stag party, and she messaged
Yeah.
me, and she's like, "Are you guys having a party?" I'm like, "There's two vehicles in the driveway, and the house is empty. What the hell do you mean? Are we having a party?" And she sends me a picture taken. You
Of
could
the
tell from the angle that it was taken from the neighbor's window. Like her neighbors took a picture of the vehicles where we had drawn a dick on the windshield on our way to get picked up by the Uber driver.
Jesus.
Or actually, no, Sean, you picked us up.
I drove. I DD'd that leg of the journey.
Oh, wild.
So we had to go back. We had to go back and wipe the snow dick off to appease the grumpy old neighbors, so that we could go have our party elsewhere.
But I complained that it was it wasn't harming anybody. It was on our personal vehicles, and it was a personal expression.
Gross
And
overstep.
for her to jump to conclusions on yelling at us about it was out of line. And she agreed with me and gave us a discount on the Airbnb, so that was cool.
Yeah, ended up
That's
working
the way
out
to
really
do it.
well.
But yeah,
We went to Stag.
the after party was at Sauer's house.
Well, hold on. We got to go to the stag party.
Oh, what?
So we got to the stag party, and there's the usual raffle baskets and the usual, 50-50
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And what's it, about 75% fraternity guys, and 25% was like family and friends that were local.
Yeah.
And
Around
we
that.
we have all been to each other's stags and stuff before, so we knew to bring a lot of cash, and that we would you throw a lot of cash at those events just for fun and for your brothers. And it got time to pull tickets, and like we'd run through a decent amount of the baskets, and they had like a pick a liquor, and basically it was like 7 or 8 bottles of real nice liquor, and they drew the 7 or 8 numbers, and everybody get to go through and pick up your stuff. And I think we pretty much cleared out all the liquor
Between
in the
between
grab-a-bag.
our Airbnb and like Matt Agnello, most of the liquor came our way.
Jesus.
Most of
So the
liquor came
Airbnb that wasn't a
direction.
party was probably better stocked than most parties ever should be.
Yeah, well, and 5 people just cracking beers at the end of the night. When we went to take care of the garbage, I'm like crunching cans and shoving them down. I'm like, she's gonna peek at the garbage and really think we had a party in here. They're just 5 guys that drink a little more than her average tenant.
Yeah.
But
So the after party, I'll let you go ahead and launch into the after party part of the adventure.
yeah, so the after party, who drove? You drove and CJ drove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he drove and CJ drove, so we had enough vehicles to get us back.
And it was Wade and CJ in one vehicle.
I don't know what it was when we went, but while we were there, everybody's imbibing and having a few, and I started kind of putting CJ could not make it up the hill to get there, and when he got there, he's like, "Fuck it, we can't leave. I can't drive that. I'll slide down the hill. It won't work." Well, he just power quit. He just
we pushed him. We pushed him up the hill.
We pushed him all the way.
We pushed him up the hill because he couldn't make it up the hill.
Drive his vehicle. But Wade was kind of on him. He's like, you don't know how to drive on hills, you city driver. You don't know what you're doing. Let me drive. And CJ didn't react well to that. He's like, it's my vehicle. I don't want you touching it. So we ended up pushing him all the way up the hill and just kind of got him turned around and shoved into the snowbank. And then the plow came through a few times, So he was just like, we have to stay or, get an Uber. We kind of were like, we can Uber home. And then the weather conditions kept getting worse and there was no Ubers available. So I kind of saw the
Oh
writing on the
no.
wall and quit drinking early. And after CJ
Yeah.
was really plastered, I came to him like, CJ, I love you, but the only way I see us getting home is if you allow somebody to drive your vehicle. He's like, Woody, I'd be okay if you drove it. Like,
I
thank
trust you,
God.
man.
So I asked him. I asked him before we got in. I'm like, all right, you know, anything I need to know with this vehicle. I don't normally drive your car. What,
Yeah, it was a
just
manual
some
too, isn't it?
general. It wasn't a manual, but he pulls his e-brake every time.
Mm.
Came to find out the hard way.
Mm.
So
You get jerked.
no,
Oh,
so I
fuck.
I eased us up out of the bank it was in, right? I start
Mm-hmm.
Front wheel drive.
as soon as I hit the road, I just start sliding.
Oh.
I just start
Front wheel
sliding.
drive.
I'm just
Front wheel
going
drive.
down.
The back.
I'm just going down this hill. Like, well, Sean's behind me, so that's good. I'm not going to slide into him. I hope I stop at the intersection. I'm just slowly sliding, just real slow sliding. If I apply too much brake, I cut loose more. If I don't, I'm just kind of riding the
Mm-hmm.
brake down. And CJ is pretty impressed, I guess. I don't know. He's half wasted, but he's glad I'm the one behind the wheel. And Wade was in the vehicle with me, or Dorfman, one of them.
Probably Dorfman. I would
Oh,
imagine.
Bowser was with us too. We had 6 in that house.
Yeah, we had a lot of people, and
We
it
had
was heavy.
6
But it
in
was
that
heavy
house.
guys split between 2 cars.
Yeah, so I had Wade in the back. I think I had Bowser and Dorfman, and you had Wade on the way back.
That might.
I want
That
to
sounds
say,
vaguely right.
but I don't know. You were on speakerphone when you finally called, so it's like everybody's everywhere. But
Well,
I'm
and so
just
I'm
sliding. All of a
behind
sudden,
him.
this thing just starts beeping at me. It's beeping,
Mm.
and then my phone starts buzzing, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting like stimulation overload. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to drive this vehicle. And I'm sliding.
flashing my high
He's
beams.
flashing his high
Yeah.
beams. My phone's buzzing, and John Wade was in my vehicle because he's going, "Don't you fucking dare answer that phone! Don't you fucking dare!" 'Cause I'm like, "Dude, my phone's
Jesus.
buzzing. This thing's beeping, and I need both hands on the wheel. What the hell's going on?" Finally, they call Wade's phone, and they're like, "Dude, your parking brake's on." I'm like, CJ, you fucking.
So I'm watching from behind, and all I see is the back end of this vehicle is not turning, it's not moving, and that's what the ice skate
Like,
motion he feels is the
your-
ass end of his
My
car
back wheels are just an
acting like
anchor.
skis.
But it's
Yeah.
so icy, I couldn't tell the difference. And finally, we're within like 20 yards of the stop sign. I'm like, I'm not changing now. I'll take the
Right.
parking brake off at the bottom. So
I mean, once you get used to it, you don't want to add anything else, you know?
yeah, I'm like, I've got this sorted out. Just let it be a boat anchor.
Dude, that's kind of like on my way back home to school from Binghamton, I was going like 75 cruise control, hit like the Watkins Glen area, like exit, and it was a wall of snow. Yeah.
Gross.
Ass end went one way, and I said, "Oh shit, fix that." All of a sudden, I was going, "Oh fuck, I overshot that." Now my back end's facing backwards, and I'm like, I'm about 40 miles an hour. This should work. So I threw it in fucking neutral, popped the 4-wheel drive, popped it in reverse, and started driving backwards and whipped the front end around, threw it in neutral, threw it in drive, and kept on going. And then the guy next to me like stopped and then caught back up and was just like, "What the fuck?"
That's wild.
You got it. You just got, the thing is, when that shit happens, you just gotta not panic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst thing. And
that's
then,
one of the
like,
biggest reasons when somebody starts sliding, if they don't know how, like most people oversteer when they go to countersteer.
Right. And the thing is like, you couldn't tell the parking brake was on because, well, you never put your parking brake on, probably, like most people.
Yeah.
And
Different, not my vehicle. Park it, like there was no like clear light on the dash until something started flashing at me. And then I'm like,
right. right? And the thing is, though, is you knew like put more brake pressure made it worse,
Hmm.
you know, and you're just like, well, I'm just gonna ride it out to the bottom because if you take off the parking brake, you know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm like, I,
You
I
might
have a
make it
controlled
even worse.
descent situation. I'm changing nothing.
Yeah, you know, the only thing you had to hope for is the intersection was clear.
Yeah. Which it was pretty late at night, and luckily it tapered to a flat at the stop for the most part. So that
Can
was
slide through it
That's
without.
that's just still so wild that like a parking brake can just do that in an instant and not even realize like what the fuck's going on.
hmm yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it was
fun.
definitely a little unnerving to be behind to watch it because I couldn't. All I'm thinking is about what's possibly going to happen to this vehicle. I'm like,
Yep.
man, if he catches traction, like this is gonna be terrifying.
I had
Trying to
no, I
warn
had
him.
no, I don't think I was going to catch traction. Honestly, that road was
No,
just
but
a
I was
slick of ice.
just scared you would though.
Fun times.
It makes me want to just move out west and just
West.
and and go off roading all the time,
Oh
I
gosh,
know,
yeah.
right?
like rock crawling and stuff. Dude, it'd be so sick.
There's some ATV parks in PA now, or like off road parks. They converted a bunch of old like coal mine country.
Really,
Yeah, we should plan
I'd
something
have to get
sometime.
I'd have to get a bumper and stuff for mine.
Callie's parents are talking about like this would be a little bit further down the road, but like doing like a week to Moab and like haul side by sides out there, and
That'd
then
be
just like
cool.
camp out of the vehicle and go. And
That'd be
I've
wild.
obviously we're not quite there yet, but like the thought behind it sounds pretty cool. Sorry, there's a heck of a storm brewing outside. I think our snow shovel just went flying across our deck. Scared the snot out of me. Um, Not there yet, but I think that'd be a really cool thing to do in the futures. Even it doesn't have to be the craziest trail. Just I think going out west and seeing the country and even
So,
just pick an easy trail.
Yeah,
dude, so when I went to Arizona, like those trails are actually pretty easy to just go on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you just need to have a clearance vehicle because they're tourist ones, so they're actually like ridden a lot. But like there are trails that can get pretty sketch.
yeah. You got to do your
I
research and
know
kind
that
of
for
know
sure.
what you're getting yourself into ahead of time as best as you can tell.
Yeah, and the dude,
Yeah.
like, I was like, this is tempting out here.
Yeah, get in explorer mode.
get 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 a really expensive hobby.
Oh yeah, you can dump all kind of stupid money, even just in like a you kind of weekend warrior style overland rig, which is more or less what mine
I
is.
would,
It's like
I would probably buy a two door out there and do that,
yeah.
and just make it my toy.
Oh, I don't know if I've talked to you about this yet. I went to Overland Expo East this year.
Did you?
Dude, you would have loved it. It is so awesome. There's just
So we going this year?
we can, dude. It was so much fun, and I actually did a bunch of medical training while I was there. They have a bunch of classes and
Hmm.
stuff that once you've paid the weekend pass entry fee, like they're all available to you. You can just kind of plan your day. They have it all on a schedule, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to go to.
That's wild.
Steph brought us to a bunch of the I think it's called Outdoor Eats. That was like the people putting it on, but the dude was making like gourmet meals with like dehydrated food.
That's wild.
It was pretty
That's
awesome. He was
great.
he was making it live. He had like an overhead camera on his like cook setup, and it's just like backpacking cookware, and it's he was getting like shit you can buy off the shelf. Like he was using jerky as the meat, as like the protein, and he made like a stroganoff,
Yep.
and he rehydrated jerky for the meat. It's like wild stuff. Made like
That's a cool idea.
yeah, made like a breakfast granola. He rehydrated like cranberries and blueberries and shit, and mixed it into the granola and hydrated it up, and like really tasty stuff. It was wild. So
Sounds good.
that was a pretty cool class. Like I said, I went to a bunch of the medical points abroad was there, and they're actually, I don't know if they're based in New York, but the one guy lives in upstate New York, and we kind of hit it off with them. And I went to damn near every training they had, which was like
That's wild.
that was really cool. But Steph and I wanted to look at the like camper rigs. Like we're really looking for like a tow behind that we can either pull with my vehicle, or if we change over later in life to a different vehicle, then the RV doesn't have to be a whole switch over, and I can kind of lose some weight on my main vehicle. So
Mm-hmm.
and you can drop the trailer and go. Like that's the biggest attraction on a rooftop tent for me is once I put the tent out, I'm not the type to
You're stuck.
pick up camp every day, man. It's not my style.
Yeah.
I'm too messy for that. Like I want to get all my stuff out and situated and settled and be there. So I'd rather have a base camp and go out and do fun things from that base camp for a couple days at a time. I'm not a stop on the trail for one night. I mean, I can. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of being able to base camp.
And then just head back. Yeah. So like, I've been really thinking about getting just a 10-foot camper also. You know, one of those little teardroppers. But dude, the smaller you go, the more expensive they fucking get.
Yeah. One
So-
company we hung out with them a while and we kind of hit it off was Core RV, and these cats build ice fishing rigs, like ice fishing like shanties,
Like little-
tow out, and then the axle drops like that. I think they must be trailing arm axles, and they're just made to drop flat to the ground out on the ice. But
Yeah.
they're coming to the RV market with the panel technology that they've got. So it's like almost like a foam fill with like a poly side, and they're building these things out into RVs. It's never going to rot. It's never going to mildew or anything like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're pretty. They're not the most cutting edge with like super technological crazy stuff. Like there's other campers out there with tons of bells and whistles and stuff, but these guys are bringing something to market that's really A, it's affordable, B, it's well thought out, which is the biggest thing. Like you can have every bell and whistle in the whole goddamn world, but if it's not a well thought out layout, then it's useless.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just extra weight you don't need. Like
That's what I was about to say. You're adding a lot of weight for some of that useless junk you'll never use.
Well, like they just
Like,
came
the
to
only
market,
thing, like,
I
I
think,
can
this
think of-
year. I think they just came to market this year, and they've got they don't have like onboard water, and their reasoning for it is, well, we want it to be easy for people, and it's less to winterize if you just carry jerry cans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
That's
I
true.
like that. And if I bought one of these, I think they're coming up with something similar because I was engineer to engineer. I was bullshitting with some of their guys. You know, we hung out for a while. And it sounds like they're eventually going to probably come out with some sort of a detachable hot water, like a pod, like something you can mount and unmount, which is what I would do. I'd do some sort of a water cabinet that would mount to the side of this thing. It's got your little on-demand hot water with a propane hookup, have it near enough you can run the hose.
I was gonna say you can probably just get in, like your own and then just somehow DIY that stuff.
Yeah.
But imagine
You know.
imagine this. You did it something like that, but you have it so that when you hook it on, it's just two quick connect coupler hoses on the outside of the camper. So you fill the tank up, you hook it onto the side of the RV, and then just click, click, hot, cold.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking
Yeah.
because I've got that. It's
Yeah.
not Rotopax, but that's what people recognize, like the brand. I've got that fuel can on the side of my truck. They make those for water too. All you need is one of those and a little cabinet with an on-demand hot water and a quick connect to a propane. You're gonna haul propane anyways,
Yeah, and a,
There
little,
you
a
go.
little pressure pump.
and you can mount it along with a like a shower setup if you want it. which you can go as simple or as complex as you like there too. But yeah, dude, you would love Overland Expo. Like just walking around was amazing. Like, you just see everybody's rigs from all the people that
Yeah.
camp there. And I got stuck next to a bunch of Xteras, which was kind of funny because my last rig was an Xtera. Well, my last
Hmm.
two rigs, but
Yeah.
one was a 2-wheel peeler. But yeah, man, and you could just like ask anybody anything as you're walking through the camp. Everybody's like happy to talk to you. Like, I walked past one guy. He had like a hammock on like this outrigger off from his vehicle. Like it was like a bar coming off the roof rack that came down to like
Hmm.
a bipod. And I'm like, hey, I'm just curious what that is and if you like it. And I was going to go do my own research once I had the brand name or whatever. And
Hmm.
he didn't just tell me what it was. He came over, explained the whole thing, gave me a full review of what he liked, what he didn't like, how he ended up getting it. Like they got it on Kickstarter or something. And
Yeah.
I think it's Kamek brand, but either way, he folded the whole thing down to what it folds down to and handed it to me so I could get a feel for the weight. Like and see
Jesus.
how it sets up and goes down. I'm like, that's awesome. Like just a
Because I know
random
they
guy.
make them for the trailer hitch too.
Yeah, yeah. McLean Metalworks, or at least that's who I remember first came out with it.
Hmm.
Makes some really awesome ones.
I
They're
just went and looked it
pricey
up,
though.
Woody. You're right. Kamek Outpost.
Yeah, there's some now
The
that are
lift. That's really cool.
yeah, they're
I
pretty
like
cool.
that.
They're pretty neat. He said his family uses it mostly on the beach. Like they live semi coastal and they like doing day trips
Hmm.
out. And he's got some girls that they used to play in the waves. Now they like to play on their phones and sun themselves on the beach. So the hammock stuff is like they've got two of those hammocks and they've got one of their rooftop. They had a trailer, but one of their tents was like a hard mounted on their Jeep. He's like, yeah,
Mm.
we turn it into like that's the cabana, like the rooftop tent is like
Hmm.
the lounge little cabana to get out of the sun, and then they had the two hammocks mounted off, and that's their little beach rig. When they're not overlanding, they use it to do that. So that was pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's
I like
amazing all
this.
the different
I'm looking
places you
at
can
it.
take it, man. It's like all that you should
When
look at some of their highlight reels for Overland Expo. You just start drooling, dude. And then Toyo Tires and Lexus both had after parties where it's like free beer until like 11 or
dang,
something. It's like 9 to 11, just free beer. Just hang out. Met some cool people, hung out with some cool people.
that sounds like a blast, dude.
Yeah.
How
Like
much
the
was it,
only
Woody,
thing
to
I
go
would
for
have
the weekend?
changed is if I could have brought some buddies. If I had known ahead of time that I should bring more buddies, like because you guys would have had a
Yeah,
blast.
exactly.
How
Dude, I
much
would
were the
go.
tickets?
Um,
They weren't horrible, were they?
they were a little pricey, but I actually, man, I can't remember what the price breakdown was because there's three different tiers. There's day passes too. You could actually camp off site and come in every day, but we wanted to just be in the action, just get the full experience.
Honestly, that's probably the way to do it. Honest, because like if you um just stay in there, you get that full experience of like I don't have to like get up early and then walk over
Right?
or drive here.
Yeah.
Like you just get up, you're there. You can stay up late with people and chat it up even more.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah. One of my
be
neighbors
honest,
had
how
one of those.
what times are you going to bed?
One of my neighbors had one of those lava boxes. It's like a 50 millimeter ammo can turned into a
Hmm.
propane fireplace. It's another fun overlander like creation that Sean's about to look up, I'm sure.
Oh, fine. Twist my tail. I was curious enough before. I will look it up now. Lava
They're
box fire pit.
yeah, they're pretty cool. But they had that thing going. We get done with the after party and then we go hang out with them and tell stories and stuff. And they were part of VA 4x4, so they're like,
Oh, I've seen these before.
yeah, they're cool, right? But these VA 4x4 guys were trying to, they're just trying to get the word out to people. They've got
This
like
is
a
what you were talking
website
about,
they're
right?
starting. Yeah, that's the thing I'm talking about. But they're like mapping trails down in Virginia, and they're just sharing them for
Yeah.
free on their website, va4x4.com, I believe. They were a bunch of cool dudes.
That's super cool. So it's a propane, basically a propane fireplace.
Yeah,
in
because
a,
there's
in a
fire
ammo
ban,
crate.
and most of BLM in the summers got a fire ban of some sort. So guys out west overlanding, that's the thing to have. You haul a little bit
It's a cool
extra
idea.
propane, and you don't have to worry about whether there's a fire ban or not, because you have a easily extinguishable device.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very. So
Dang it, you're gonna start me down this path again. I'm gonna get this duck boat done, and then I'm gonna wanna
go to Overland
turn
Expo
my
and get a
rig
bunch
into
of
something.
ideas.
I
I
don't
gotta
need
get
to. I
my
got
dad's
you.
vehicle done first
What's that?
before
What are
I
you
do
working
anything
on?
to mine. Huh?
What are you working on? Do tell.
Oh, I have my dad's '67 Cougar that needs a lot of work. Mostly engine, probably, and maybe like lines and stuff.
Mm.
Definitely needs interior.
So you and Amari are both chasing the classic car industry now.
I've had it, but I think my plan is to do it, and then once I'm finished, I move out west.
To give us a jumping off point when we go out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go to Colorado. You gotta go somewhere else. We already have a spot in Colorado. Just don't tell my sister.
Thane wants me to go to Colorado.
I bet he does.
My sister just bought a house out there.
Steph's
That's
got
And
what
then
family
she-
in
she said
Colorado.
now.
my cousin wants me to move out to Arizona with her, and I'm like, kind of want to do that too.
Most
That'd
of
be pretty
Steph's
cool.
aunts and uncles live in Colorado.
I got a bunch of people that live in Phoenix too that I know.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever even been to Arizona.
I don't think I've ever left the airport in Arizona.
Where'd you go to the Overland Expo?
Arrington,
That's the-
Virginia, the east. So they've got, I think they got 4 now. I think it's
East, Central, West, South.
no, it's like Mountain West, East, Pacific Northwest, and something, I think. I'll tell you in a second.
Overland Expo. That's I was just going to look for it. So it's Pacific Northwest, Mountain West,
West
East, and West.
and East, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, East is the easy to get to one for us, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
It's
there's
down in
Flagstaff, Arizona.
Virginia, but it's the smallest of the 4.
Yeah, so there's Flagstaff, Arizona, which is the western one. Pacific Northwest is in Redmond, Oregon. Mountain West is in Loveland, Colorado. And East is in Arrington, Virginia.
Well, I know where I would be going if I'm out that way.
Yeah.
You got 2 right there on close proximity.
That'd be a real
Take all my
excuse to come
monies.
out to Colorado.
Toke, never mind. Now I give you permission. Go. Go set up base camp. We'll meet you.
Dude, that's what I'm saying though. I know I can get a job easily, so I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool, to be honest with you. That'd be pretty cool to road trip out to you and then go hit trails from
It's
there.
like 36 for me, so 36-ish hours for me.
Yeah, it'd be a
The
long trip.
Flagstaff area, so and that's north.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Like I said before, my in-laws have talked about doing it. Like that'd be. They're talking about taking like 2 weeks, and you'd trailer out there, and as you go, if you saw stuff that looked cool, you'd stop and run the trail and load back up, keep going.
That would be fun.
Kind of an idea.
Dude, I loved it out there. It was wild.
Yeah, I had a good time when we went out to Colorado for a wedding for Steph's side of the family. Tim was still living out there, so like the morning of the wedding, they needed somebody to pick up her grandmother, like
Yeah.
in not downtown Denver, but like in the outskirts of Denver, and Tim was in Denver. I'm like, Tim, pick a trail. We're coming early. We're gonna hike. So we went out, met with Tim, went on a hike near like Red Rocks, and we came down, picked up her grandma, dropped off Tim, and then went back to the hotel and got ready for the wedding. Hey man, you got to fit it in. You know, I've been to I've been to Colorado one time, so just making the most of it.
So when in Rome, right? You got to go.
My goal is to hit every state.
I'd like to do that too. At one time, I was like, I want to hit every national park. And I'm like, like I just want to do outdoorsy stuff. Like it doesn't have to be every national park. Like the national parks are sometimes more touristy than anything. So like you can have better experience on BLM land or just National Forest Service land if you've got a vehicle that'll take you there.
That's one thing I was always proud my dad did that when we were kids. He'd take a week off in the summer every year and he'd just take us somewhere.
Yeah.
And like one year we drove the East Coast from top to bottom, and it was the most fun week to live out of a pickup truck. I talk about it to anybody who will listen to me talk about it.
Mean you don't do a 14-hour haul straight for Florida and then get drunk all weekend for spring break?
No, not quite. I've made that haul before, and
I did.
That's what Carl and Dan Peters and I did.
Jesus.
I'll be doing it in March, but I'll be doing it in March. Oh, we lose Woody?
Oh, I think so.
Come back, Woody. Come back.
Knock, knock.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're driving for March.
Until he gets back, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Oh, he got disconnected.
He'll be back.
Pause. Bathroom break.
He makes light bars that are designed for predator hunting, but they're red lens. Hey, there he is. He's back. Welcome back, buddy.
Well, hello there, sir.
Still not back. I had to make a hotspot on my phone. And then I was worried I was going to lose the recording because I had to exit out of because it got real mad when the internet cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for hunting?
So the page got mad. I was worried about the recording. So I was trying to come back on a new tab and hope that it didn't kill it.
Yeah, it's still running.
But
hey, remember I was telling you earlier about those pod lights?
I think it individually from each of us records 3 different threads.
Yep.
So that's good.
That was a mistake. So hey, I'm going to share that again real quick, what I just had up. This is that, remember I was telling you about that red pod light bar? That's these guys. And look at the imagery of how nice that is. So it's basically like a light bar, but all red tint, and it's completely a red case finish. And I'm like, that looks fucking amazing.
That'd be dope for deer hunting.
I want it on my. So what I want to do, Toke, is I want to take a painter's pole, and I want to 3D print an adapter for an extendable painter's pole and put one of those on top of it, so that I can mount it on my trailer or on my duck boat. Raise the fucker up, plug it into like a cigarette lighter, like receptacle, and turn it on, and have basically red floodlight for either when you're duck hunting with a duck boat or when you're backing up a trailer and working in the dark.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't wash out.
That'd be pretty good.
Wouldn't wash out your cameras. It wouldn't glare your eyes. It wouldn't spook game.
Yep.
And they're not that bad. Like, they're a little bit, like, I'm not gonna lie, they're not cheap, but they're about $100 a pop for those 4-inch pods. So within reason for a decent LED pod light these days.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
because your only older
I've got-
alternative is to just get a lens.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got red side shooters on my four-wheeler, on some of my four-wheeler headlights that are switched separately. The problem is they were an Amazon find, and I didn't pay that close attention. And every other time you switch the red light on, it flashes. So I can either come in sneaky or I can come in impersonating a police officer.
Putting on a deer
Depending
rave.
on which way I left it switched. I try to flip it on off. Like when I go to flip it off, I flip it back on and off again every time. So when I flip it on, it's always the proper. But right now that switch is broke off, so I don't have red lights at all. But I used a similar light that is actually, you can individually switch it 2 different ways with amber side shooters on my Jeep. So I've got 2 front ones that are kind of like fog lights mounted on the bumper. And so they're white center shooters, and then they've got amber bars on the sides of them where they're wrapped just slightly. And you can turn them on just plain amber, or you can turn them on like flashing. And they got 6 different like flash patterns that I think it's random, but I don't really care. Flashing is flashing. And I've got the same thing on the back. So I can use, I've got pretty much 360 lights on this thing right now.
Those side lights are amazing. The
side
number
lights
of times
are
that
awesome
I've been like,
for hunting.
dude, how many times getting ready in the parking lot in the morning, you flip those suckers on and we can see what the hell we're doing to pack bags and get
Every
gear
time
ready.
we go duck hunting, I just flip those things on. You got light around you to put your waders on and shit. And they're pointed mostly down, so it's not shining in your face.
Yeah. I 10 out of 10 love that. It's probably it sounds silly. It's one of the favorite upgrades you've done to the Jeep.
Oh yeah, they're awesome. That's the one thing I'll miss if I change systems, because if I go with a trailer, I don't have a whole lot of reason to have that heavy rack on the back anymore. And then I've got 2 options, right? I can go with a hard shell on the back, or I can go with one of those. Have you seen those flated toppers?
Mm-hmm.
Those things are awesome, man. Those are really cool.
I thought about getting one.
I looked at it.
I really like the
it's
idea
the same
of
technology. It's the same technology they use in those inflatable stand-up paddle boards, like the one I got Cali. And I love the idea.
Those guys used to work for stand-up paddleboard companies.
Yeah. I like the idea. I'm never quite sold on putting another topper on my truck without going with a full, like, I forget if it's Ranch or it's one of those usual companies they now offer. You can order custom. Like, you can get the fold out and slide open windows. You can get the rear with a door in it, or with, the double hatch. You can get headliners,
Smart cap
lights.
is the other way to go. If I like for Jeeps, anyways, for like what token I have, like if you're going to go hard shell, the big ticket would be smart cap, because you can customize those things like crazy.
That's similar. I think that's kind of where they've gone with the hard cap shells. It's just I do kind of like.
You can have them open in a couple different ways. You can have windowed, not windowed. They make molly panels and cubbies that you can mount into those side doors. It's like if I go trailer, which we're probably going trailer eventually, then I'm probably gonna get like a decked in the bed, like a decked system. That's those drawer sliders, and replace that big military box I've got. And then I would either go flated, where you can just remove the top, and I don't run it half the time, but I run it when I need extra gear storage. And then, or I go like a.
Dude, they just have bed
something.
Replacements.
Yeah, that's true.
They have bed replacements.
Yeah. Have you ever
God.
seen like the P
Toke,
core
Toke, how far
systems
down?
they make for them?
I was gonna say, how far down the rabbit hole did you go, Toke? I can see you over there squirreling.
Well, if you go, oh shoot, I can't.
There's no rabbit hole here.
Expedition Overland built
Don't know what you're
their.
talking about.
They had a Gladiator for a little while, and they had that P core system. I don't remember if that's.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what company makes it. It might just be P core, but you can pull that whole thing off, and it's just a flatbed with like removable sides. Those are pretty badass.
That's dope.
I always thought if I
That
did
sounds
that
cool.
though, I would probably build a custom frame and sit my old bed on it as a trailer. Why not? Leave the rack on it too. Keep the
Makes
rooftop
sense.
tent
Not a
up
bad
there.
thing.
You just need a frame
Yeah.
and some axles. Put a box in the
And you
front
could just
to clean up
probably
the
use
front
one
end.
of those fucking Harbor Freight trailers.
Probably. Just got to
Yeah, you
figure
can
out
use
the
the Harbor
mounting.
Freight and then just don't put the bed on it. Well, they make that little fold
No,
up
I want the
2K
bed
one.
on it.
Yeah, you could. No, on the trailer. Like so Harbor Freight sells like a
Oh.
trailer kit that you can put together, and instead of putting their bed and bed rails on, you would just bolt your
Put the
truck bed right
Yeah,
onto it.
there's just wooden. All theirs is wooden slats.
Yeah, but I mean,
that
even
would be
like the
sweet.
side rails.
I've thought about that before.
Leave all that.
Mhm.
You know what's even worse?
I don't know if they're
I
still in
bet you they
business. There was a company called Dinoot Trailers, like Dinoot, and they sell or used to sell like custom trailer kits. You can kind of
They're still in
you would
business.
pick your parts and pieces, and they would they give you the plans and like the axles and stuff. If I remember, they had a couple different options, but it was a cool way to DIY a trailer with help.
Yeah, they sell the kits and stuff. I'm looking at them right now. I just
Yeah.
pulled them up.
Yeah, those are sweet. I've rabbit
was gonna
holed. I
say,
think I
if
emailed
you-
with the guy back and forth a couple times once.
I was gonna say you could even go as far as to replace, like get like the Harbor Freight trailer, but then replace the hubs with 5 lug
Mhm.
and just get another set.
I
of
think
wheels.
that used to be one of his options. Yeah, you would buy the Harbor Freight trailer, and he would sell you like the upgrade kit, and then you just do your own upgrading.
I almost did that this weekend. The trailer that I was working on, those bearings, would that be in the Dayton hub style where the hub and the wheel are 2 separate components?
Mhm.
I almost just went and bought 5 lug, but they don't make 7,000 pound 5 lug conversions. I'd have to go to like an 8 lug, and I was like, that seems like overkill for a 14-foot aluminum boat. 1,000
Yeah.
pound side by side. I might be building this trailer
Just
a
a
little
wee
too
bit.
heavy.
Just a wee bit.
I got to keep this thing
Just
under
a
1,000
tiny.
pounds, so I got to kind of be careful of the weight here. I'm getting
Well,
close.
we're
though. Getting
over
close.
an hour just on this. We're over an hour on just this recording, so we were gonna ask you about some frisbee golf stuff just so we could learn a little more on that, but I guess we'll have to save that for a different time.
That's fine by me, man. I mean, I'm always down to talk about some disc golf here, man.
I mean, dude,
I love disc golf, bro. To sum it
Yeah,
up,
dude. We
I
we'll
don't
have
know
to
how
get together
crazy.
in
It's
person one of these
hiking.
times.
it's hiking with a purpose.
Yeah, that's what
Because
hunting
you're always
is.
playing outside, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. You can also keep up to date by following us on our social media at Fraternal Outdoors on all platforms. And we love to see what you're doing in the outdoors as well, so please use the hashtag Fraternal Outdoors on your content so we can follow along. All the best in your outdoor pursuits, and catch you next time.